It's often said that it's expensive to be poor. When you're barely scraping by, it's almost impossible to climb out. My next guest sees this every day in her hometown of Jackson, Mississippi. But through an innovative program, she's transforming the lives of families across her community and tackling poverty head on. That makes her a rad human. Please welcome the founder and CEO of Springboard to Opportunities, Aisha. Y'all give it up. Today.
No, thank you so much for having me, Kelly. This is a lot of fun.
Honor to have you on here. This is like ladies wear your pantsuit day. Like this is like, I'm just
we're
saying.
We're ushering in spring.
I know, it's like we all called each other. I love this episode so much. So you returned home to do this work, right?
I did, yeah. I have been back home in Jackson, Mississippi for the last 15 years. And the ideal of going back home after doing undergrad and graduate school really was instilled in me by my grandmother, who really taught me that you bloom where it is that you're planted. So I went off, I did school, but when it was time to go about doing the work of changing community, oh, and that's my granny right there. Yeah, that's my granny. But when it was time to go about doing the work of being in community and operating in that space, I knew I had to go back home. And so I had the beautiful opportunity of leading Springboard to Opportunities, which provides programs and services for families that live in federally subsidized affordable housing, taking a radical community-driven approach to providing them with programs and services aimed at helping them advance in life, school, and work.
Yeah, but a lot of times it takes something radical. It's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Initially, this didn't work quite as you'd hoped, right?
No, that's exactly right, and you're right. Sometimes it does take being very radical, and it takes listening a lot in community when you're trying to affect change. And so we went out and we listened, and everything that we heard from families were things that just could be resolved with money, and not a lot of money, just $25, $500. We heard from moms talking about how their car had broken down and how they could not get to and from work because they didn't have the financial resources to get their car repaired. I remember one mom talking about how stressed she was because her daughter had made it to the next level of the science fair, but she didn't have the registration fee. And so we really began to think about, if we're an organization that is rooted in community and we're radically resident-driven, how do we go about just providing families the money that they need? And that's where the Magnolia Mothers Trust came from.
Yeah, so it's a simple concept, but tell everybody how it works.
It is a very simple concept. We provide $1,000 a month for 12 months, no strings attached.
Incredible.
Thank you for moms living in federally subsidized affordable housing, and we open 529 accounts for their kids as well. So this concept of what it is that we do is called guaranteed income. It's not a new idea. Dr. Martin Luther King and President Nixon called for guaranteed income way back in the 60s as a way to alleviate poverty. But for us, what it is that it's doing is it really is changing how we talk about poverty and how we believe that only programs and services can help alleviate poverty by just hitting it the nail head on, just by providing cash.
Yeah. So what do you think the biggest barrier to end poverty is, if you had to kind of pick one?
You know, I think the biggest barrier to end poverty, quite frankly, is us. It's the stories that we tell ourselves about poverty. We really have bought into this idea that poverty is an individual failing. It's not. Poverty really is about systems and policies that we put in place. We like to tell ourselves that individuals are poor because they choose to be poor. We criminalize poverty. And all of those things are not true. It's expensive to be poor. And when you are poor, there are all of these other systems that's lined up to take advantage of you. There's a predatory lending, there's a payday loan services. All of these things are systems that are in place. That
almost set you up for failure.
Exactly, exactly. They're all there just to set you up for additional failing. And so that's the biggest hurdle. We have to tell ourselves new stories. We have to really tell ourselves the truth about what poverty looks like in this country and really go about changing that narrative.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, it comes back to, like, for me, like junior high sports, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and like society as well. Like, it matters. Everybody in the community is doing well, because then the community flourishes if everybody's doing well. And it suffers if they're not. And everyone does. Everyone suffers if it's not. So it is a bigger thing. Through her nonprofit, Aisha launched the Magnolia Mothers Trust, a guaranteed income program that provides $1,000 a month to qualified single mamas. One of them is Sequaya, y'all, who's joining us now. Give it up for her. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Before, the program, like, how was life?
It was definitely a struggle. I'm a mom of 2 now, but at the time I was a mother of 1. I worked 2 jobs. I've been working since I was 16 years old, and the struggle hadn't got easier. Like, it's overwhelming, but thanks to this beautiful lady right here.
Yeah. So how has this changed your life? Like, how did you invest? Like, how did you use the $1,000 a month? How did it help you?
It helped me in a lot of ways. It definitely helped me get ahead on things that I was behind on, bills. Transportation had went down. I had lost my job because I didn't have transportation. I didn't have childcare to get my daughter to and from school or myself to and from work.
And childcare is expensive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have a 1-year-old, so yes.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to walk 6 miles to work because I didn't have transportation. And yes.
Wow. So you turned that into helping yourself, though, right? You invested in yourself with a little bit of that money, right?
Exactly. I turned to braiding hair, and story of my life. When I received those funds, I started to put a lot of different things in perspective, like, okay, well, I need to do this, and that. Well, let's be realistic, that don't always work. So I had to do what I knew best, hair, and that's what I do. And so I kind of put, not all of it, but most of it into braiding, my passion of braiding. And right before those funds, Miss Aisha, I don't know if you know this or not, but it was one time clearly I didn't have hardly any food to eat, and I had to go 7 days without eating so my daughter can eat. And when you think about that, because you can't get government assistance if you work. In our state, it is minimum wage is like $7.
Yeah, it's such a shame though. I remember that when we were kids too. It was like we made it was literally like $1 more than like the line that you could get help, right?
Right.
And I remember like finding that out, like, and it's like, what? Like, and there's so many people living at that need the help that, like I said, didn't plan for somebody to get sick, didn't plan for a fee to get your kid into something, didn't, you can't plan for all of that all the time. And I think that people that live in a different world that grow up with money, like I didn't grow up with money, you don't even think, like, even to have sneakers to play basketball on the team, like even to have,
that's an expense.
You don't think about
That's
that,
right.
but that's a big expense for a lot of families that don't have the cash just to throw out for that,
Or just an
because they're thinking
activity.
about food, like you said, like not the extra, Well, Aisha, what are your goals with the program?
Yeah, so our goals with the program, quite frankly, have always been what they've been, to really get to federal legislation so we can go about changing the systems and policies. Because like you said, it shouldn't be just $1 more and your family doesn't qualify for these, for the programs or services that you need to be successful. There are currently over 150 guaranteed income programs in this country. I would love for us to get to the place where none of them have to exist. I would love for my organization not to have to exist. I think retirement would look really good on me. I could come work for you.
Woo, I think it would look really good too.
I'm happy here.
We'll be on
I could come work for
if you like a farm situation. Yes.
So I really would like us to have better policies at the national level so that all families have the financial resources that they live, to have the agency and breathing room to provide for themselves and their families.
Yeah, and almost if they look at it as the whole picture too, because even in like schools, like why are they not teaching life skills like gardening, how to grow your food, how to, like, you know what I'm saying, like things that you need on the daily that we learned in COVID that sometimes you can't, there's no one else to help you, like if you can't grow, there's nothing there.
That's
like,
right.
So it's just, there's so many ways that this could all kind of help come together and everything could help each other. We just need those thinkers like you. So thank you, Aisha. You are wonderful. And we reached out actually to our friends at Betterment, and they love the work that you are doing to help you keep lifting up mamas in need. They're donating $10,000 just to help out.